I get frequently told by friends or fans of this program say that their favorite parts of this show is when my personal, guts get spilled at this desk into a microphone, right? And
it's relatable.
Get that a lot, okay? And kind of thought, as I took Coop, my 13-year-old, to Game 1 of the World Series on Friday night.
Coop Tawny.
Is it possible that I could get to see a Michigan football national championship and a Yankee World Series championship in the same calendar year? Is that entirely possible? Can that happen for me? Because the year started on January 1st with Michigan beating Alabama in the Rose Bowl, and I took my whole family there, and I thought to myself, is it possible? Because in this day and age, I know, I'm equated with Jet fandom and things of that nature. I get it. But the Jets have beaten the emotion out of me. I'm like this very much close to just being over it with them. Like when I'm watching the Rams here in town with the kids and seeing McVay coaching it up with Stafford and Puka and Kupp and, Kyron Williams is one of our favorites on the show. One of my dearest friends on the planet is Kara Henderson Sneed.
Yeah.
Les is just a great dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like sitting there like, yeah, kind of fun rooting for the Rams. Coach is smart. They're not going to just do anything dumb and stupid. At any rate, the two teams that truly do affect my emotions anymore are Michigan sports, football primarily, and the New York Yankees. And this year with the Yanks was just a frequent delight, When they acquired Juan Soto, it's just like, okay, you're going to put him in front of Judge. Let's see how that works. And Judge struggled for the first 30 games of the season. You're wondering how this is going to play out. And then all of a sudden, May hit all the way through to mid-June. They were awesome to watch. And then Judge had one of the best regular seasons anybody's ever had. And that's saying a lot when you're seeing Ohtani go 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases in the same season. He and Soto back-to-back, just awesome. There was a mid-June to late July swoon, and then August hit, and they wound up having the best record in the American League. Garrett Cole comes back. They found Luis Heel had some ability as a rookie starting pitcher. Carlos Rodon started winning baseball games. Clay Holmes removed my remaining hair off the top of my head frequently, and then Luke Weaver got the gig and started pitching lights out. They make the playoffs, and off we go into the World Series. And then Freddie Freeman's home run just absolutely wrecked the buffet at the end of that Game 1. Wrecked it. And Yankees didn't have another lead until they hit a grand slam of their own in Game 4. And in between that and leading up to the Freddie Freeman home run, the Yankees just had flaws throughout the season. They had flaws. They would just revert back to their all or nothing strikeout or home run type Yankees teams that got eliminated by Houston mostly. They just had those flaws. The bullpens had flaws. They had flaws in the field. They would make boneheaded plays in the field. A couple times, Daniel Jeremiah would text me after Soto had some of the moments in right field. He's like, he's a great hitter, Rich.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and so in playoff baseball, more than I think any other sport, really, I understand in the NBA playoffs, if you have problems making threes, or a couple years ago, Chris, your Celtics had trouble taking care of the basketball. They had turnover problems, right? And that came home to roost.
Big time.
At the most important moment. Mm-hmm. They fixed those issues. Spoiler alert.
Indeed.
But you know what I'm saying? Like they're in championship sports, at championship levels of playoffs, the the fault lines are going to get cracked open. And, you know, some of the fault lines that they had. Gleyber Torres at second base. Shohei Ohtani in the 8th inning of Game 1. When the Yankees have a 1-run lead, Ohtani hits one off the wall. Soto doesn't field it very clean off the wall, kind of a bobble, throws to second, and Torres just lets the ball get past him. Ohtani gets to third with less than 2 outs. Dodgers cash in that opportunity. Tie the game, go to extra innings, and Aaron Boone just makes occasional head-scratching moves. It's just like he doesn't keep Luke Weaver in the game. He didn't keep Garrett Cole in the game in Game 1. And these are all obviously second-guessable moments. He puts Jake Cousins out there, who was pitching well for much of the season. He gets into trouble, and then he turns to Nestor Cortez instead of the left-hander Tim Hill, who had earned the right to play in a high and pitch in a high-leverage situation of the World Series based on his performance and based on him actually doing the work, instead of going to a guy who hadn't pitched in 37 days, and then Freddie Freeman hits a home run that we're going to be talking about forever. And then the Yanks can't hit in Games 2 and 3. They finally hit in Game 4, and they hit in Game 5. Aaron Judge hits a home run on the first pitch he sees in Game 5, and when that happens, you're thinking, this is the Yankees' night. We are going to see the first Game 6 in the history of a World Series forced by a team down 3-0. We are going to see that when the Yankees go up 5-0, thanks to another home run by Jazz Chisholm, who was a nice pickup by Brian Cashman at the trade deadline, playing a very nice third base for a team that needed that. And then the 5th inning hits. And it's going to be one of those moments that just lives on, just like the Freeman home run from Game 1. And it's Aaron Judge who drops the baseball in center field. Instead of it being a couple outs or 1 out because Garrett Cole had just given up his first hit of the game. Now there's runners on first and second. Nobody out. And off we go. Ball gets hit to Anthony Volpe. He goes to third, and Kike Hernandez got a nice jump off a second. And it's John Smoltz, who's great. By the way, he and Joe Davis, great listen. Smoltz is always on it. He's just like, well, Kike Hernandez, with the way that he was running and making those, moves that don't show up at a box score, put pressure on the throw from Volpe. He dirts it.
Yep.
Chisholm is not a first baseman. He couldn't dig it. Now bases loaded.
But Cole nutted up, man.
He did.
Man,
because Garrett Cole then gets the next 2 hitters, Lux and Ohtani, on strikes. And he makes a great pitch to Mookie Betts, who just squibs one to first, and I could not believe what I saw. I hate to say it because you're dealing with some very prideful guys. You're dealing with a champion in Anthony Rizzo and a Cy Young, lion-hearted Cy Young in Garrett Cole. But that was a Little League play. It's like, how does Cole not cover first? And how does Rizzo not see Cole not covering first? And how is Rizzo just, I guess he didn't want to boot the ball by charging it? I mean, it
looks like it had some weird side spin.
Maybe.
And so you're trying to play back on it so you can make sure you actually field it. But Rizzo's got to charge it. Cole's got to cover first. It's day one spring training.
Right.
And then Cole would just be standing there pointing.
He's just pointing.
Like, no, I thought you
had it, Spider.
Come on, man.
I know. How did it happen?
Crazy.
That was the game.
And again,
right there.
there was a part in the championship series between the Yankees and the Indians where there was a ball hit to Mark Leiter Jr. to get out of the inning, and he flipped it to Rizzo, who let it go through his legs. It was another moment where it's just like, are we in Little League or what? Yeah. And I know that sounds, insulting, but it is just a head scratcher. That plates the first run instead of being 5-0, getting out of the inning. It's now 5-1 and Freeman's up, and just right on cue.
You knew he was getting a hit. And he delivered.
He sure did. Yeah. Again, 5-3, and then they eventually tie it. And then later on in the game, and I know the Yankees did take the lead 6-5, but having a catcher interference on Austin Wells, and that was Ohtani's bat hit his glove. And then later on, Luke Weaver, who was given a bases-loaded, no-out situation that John Smoltz called a hornet's nest. He'd be lucky to get out with just one run given up. He gave up 2 sacrifice flies as the Dodgers took the lead. He threw over to first base 3 times. That's called 3 disengagements in the now pitch clock era of baseball. Yep. That's technically a balk. The Yankees basically had the bingo card of mistakes last night. 3 errors that fail to cover first, or the failure of Rizzo to charge the ball and beat Mookie to the bag. Catcher's interference, a balk. The 5 earned runs. I mean, the old axiom, as you know, been around for a while.
Seen a lot of things.
It's that old baseball axiom. Never give your championship opponent 6 outs. Right. And the Yankees did. They gave the Dodgers an extra inning of baseball last night. Mm-hmm. And it's just, again, second guess. The one that I'm seeing, too, is why do you not go to Luke Weaver for a 6-out save? Bring him in with the bases empty. Go ahead and do that. But I'm sure Aaron Boone didn't think Tommy Kahnle would just show up and walk people. And
I thought Cole was going to get taken out in the 5th, or at least be done after the 5th. Credit to him, man. He came out, pitched the 6th, pitched the 7th.
I was glad to see
out.
that.
That dude's a beast.
You can't take the ball out of your beast's hands like they did in the first inning. In the first game, at any rate. Yeah. A lot of this and that's, ifs and buts, candies and nuts. This was Aaron Boone afterwards.
I mean, I'm heartbroken. Yeah, I mean, it's doesn't take away my pride of what that room means to me and what that group forged this year and what we've been through to get here. But I'm heartbroken. I'm heartbroken for those guys that pour so much into this. The ending is cruel. It always is. I haven't had that feeling of being celebrating and going home. And like many of the guys in there, I'm 51. I poured my life into that. So, you're chasing that, and when you get that close, it's heartbreaking.
Right with you. I'm right in that boat too. That was one of those moments as a dad last night. Like Zan came in to give me a hug. He asked if I was crying, and I'm like, no, I'm not crying. They have not seen A League of Their Own yet, so I couldn't give him that line I think you're about. So Coop took it. Coop took it well, Yeah. But he saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah. Coop knows more baseball than all of us, so he.
Do you put it on anybody? Do you blame Judge? Do you blame Cole? Do you blame Boone? Like, who are you pointing a finger at?
I'm not pointing. I can't point a finger at. It was a collective just letdown. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.